What's your advice for toxic moms, not mom-in-laws, and how would you deal with that? So like toxic real moms. Um, I don't have much context with this question, but I'll just assume toxic, like probably just like causing division or like strife or whatever. And I have shared a little bit about what my relationship with my dad was like, and I didn't share like a ton of personal details, but we definitely had an interesting relationship. And whenever he was here before he died, I definitely had to create boundaries with my time and energy. And I was still trying to be as loving as possible while also still trying to, how do I word this? Basically, my advice to you would to be as loving as you can be, because that is always the route that I feel like changes people, is kindness and lovingness, but also it's not your responsibility or burden to carry about changing her. And it's very important to guard your heart and protect your peace. And if somebody is, I needed to have details because like I might tell you to like cut her off completely if it's something insane. But if it's just like creating division or whatever, like I would just say, try to be as loving and kind as possible. But in the same breath, you do need to have boundaries with people that do that to you, that cause you the stress and anxiety. And boundaries can look like, um, not answering her phone call every time she calls, or if she starts to have certain conversations being like, hey mom, not having those conversations with you. Every time we have those conversations, never ends well, and let's talk about something different. I don't know what that looks like for you, but I think it depends on like what kind of, you know, destruction she's causing, or like how intense it is. But yeah, I would just say have boundaries, and also just like still try to be as loving and kind as possible, even though it's hard, because the Bible does talk about how his loving kindness is what leads us to repentance. And I feel like that with people too. I feel like being as loving and kind as possible does lead people to be like, wow, well, maybe I need to chill. Not always, but, and that's where the boundaries come in. But that would be my advice.